Hello, everyone, and welcome to the video. My name is Joey Friedel, Technical Training Manager. I'm here to talk a little bit about water prevention or water penetration prevention. And I have a special guest with me, Mike Redding. Mike Redding, will you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mike Redding. I am the product engineering team lead for the Americas. I've done extensive testing with water penetration into the cameras.
Thanks, Mike, for being here. Let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to talk about a few things that we see that is probably the most renowned things that come through when we deal with water penetration into our outdoor cameras. And so my first question for you is what is some of those things? Let's start with one that's important, and what can we do to prevent that?
Sure. I think really the first place I would look at is the cabling. Making sure that you're picking cables that are of sufficient diameter. If you use a cable that the diameter is too thin, or worse, even the flat cabling, you're not going to get very good adherence between the grommet and the cable itself. So making sure that you use that really will take and really start you out on a good path towards ensuring that you don't get any water penetrating into the camera.
Perfect. No, that sounds like a great thing. And one of the other things that I wanted to ask for is now that we have kind of addressed using the proper land cable, it sounds to me grommet is the next big deal when it comes to water penetration. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, yes it is. The grommet itself is the next piece in the line of preventing water from getting into the camera. Working with the grommet, you're going to want to make sure that you take and rip the tail off the grommet. That's going to create a little hole. You want to make sure that that grommet isn't torn. Use your fingers. I've seen some people use their teeth. It ends up ripping the grommet. Using the plunge tool is another really important part. It makes sure that there's a smooth transition to get over the edge of the Ethernet cable. And then once you've taken and plunged through the grommet, go ahead and pull it back just a little bit to make sure that you have the seating part of the grommet on the outside of the camera. This also works if you're using say a ceiling mount or a wall mount. Connect the plunge tool, rip off the tail of the grommet, go ahead and plunge it through, and then go ahead and pull it out and make sure that you take and tug on the cable a little bit to make sure that the mounting surface is on the outside.
No, perfect. No, that's a great thing as well. I think that typically using the proper tools and making sure that those grommets are not had holes in them already, and using that proper tool to get that cable through there. Another item that's been brought up is dealing with the actual positioning or the placing of the grommet itself. Can you touch a little bit more on that?
Sure. So now that you've taken and gotten a good cable and you've plunged the cable through the grommet, mounting the grommet is the next part. We've seen quite a few instances where people have just not put the grommet back in. You want to make sure that when you do mount the grommet back, that you're making sure that it's flushed in the ridge that's in the grommet, so that way there we're getting good adherence on both sides of the grommet. You want to make sure that there's no foreign bodies on the surface on the camera body to make sure that there isn't anything there that might take and prevent adherence. And you also want to make sure still after you've taken and mounted it properly that you give it a little tug back to make sure that the connecting surface is on the outside. You want to make sure it's free of folds, creases, areas maybe where you haven't pushed it through all the way. Any of those are going to take and provide easy access for water to get into the camera.
Oh no, great points there. And again, this is the number one thing that we see quite a bit is dealing with the grommet, the placement, and the penetration of that grommet. Can you talk a little bit more about maybe another item that might cause water to seep into the camera itself?
Sure. So now that we've gotten the camera mostly waterproof from the camera body side, really the last things that we're seeing are when it comes to the catch cable, the safety cable that we're showing on the screen right now. Taking in sometimes if you don't mount it back into the cleat that's there to retain it, when you take and twist it, it doesn't pull up next to the camera body like it's supposed to, or I'm sorry, not the camera body, next to the camera gimbal like it's supposed to. And you end up running into problems where it's going to be stuck between the camera body and the dome cover itself. It's going to create a little bit of a seam that's there uh, where water is going to be able to penetrate in, especially wind-driven rain, because it's hitting the side of the camera itself.
Uh, Thanks again, Mike. This is all some great tips to prevent water penetrating the camera. So thank you again for your time today, and hopefully look forward to speaking with you on another call.
Yes, sir. No problem. Happy to be here.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Bye.